is Dave Diewert, D-I-E-W-E-R-T, and I'm with the Alliance Against Displacement.
Okay, so tell me, what are you guys doing here today?
So the reason we're here is because we feel the urgent need to expose and oppose what's going on here. So often in the media, it's covered from the viewpoint of the police, from the viewpoint of the bylaw, the city, from the concerns of the business community around here, and the outreach workers. But very rarely do you hear from people who are living the experience on the street what goes on. So the horror of 135A is that the city has decided to develop an outreach team made up completely of police and bylaw. So in other words, an outreach team, when I think of outreach team, I think of like a medical outreach team to help with health care issues and housing issues. But instead, the outreach team is constructed entirely of enforcement. They create the narrative that they're here to help. They're here to support people, connect them to services that they need. The question is, why would you have enforcement personnel? People who are carrying guns, people who have the authority to use lethal force. Why would they be doing support work? So our fundamental criticism is that police should not be on the strip. Bylaw come down here, they take people's things, they throw them out, things that people need, things that people use for employment, and they force them into situations that even worsen their physical and mental health. So this is not a solution. The problem is not how to manage 135A. The problem is, why does 135A exist in the first place? And so we need, the homelessness has gone up 50% in Surrey, and we need housing. As the most important determinant of health, we need housing, fundamentally. And that is a responsibility of the province. In the process, in the context of a homeless crisis, the provincial parties in this election are not talking about anything around homelessness. They want to give renters rebates, they want to help out homeowners, they don't mention ending homelessness. They don't mention building social housing, non-market housing for people to be in. So this silence is really a discursive death that I think that we want to disrupt. So I think these issues are significant. The second thing is the fentanyl crisis and the overdose crisis and the pathetic response. When a response is primarily given through police or it is done in conjunction with police, this works against people's health. This is not helpful at all. And so what our message is, we want housing and healthcare, not police and bylaw on 135A, and this is the way in which this situation can be resolved.
So currently, do you know roughly how many people are living on the street on 135A?
So if you count the tents, there are probably 50 tents. And as Jennifer mentioned, that many people have big tents. When people come who don't have a tent, they provide space for them. So in many of these tents, there's more than one person. And so we can imagine that there's 80 people, 100 people on the strip.
So to be honest, how can you even compare this with the downtown east side?
So every location is different, but the driving forces that create poverty and homelessness are the same. So it has to do with austerity measures on the part of the government that say we don't want to build social housing anymore. We're cutting the social safety net. We haven't raised welfare rates in 10 years. So there's these policies coming out of the state that affect everyone across the region, not just in Surrey or in Vancouver. There's also the housing crisis. So we're going to allow the market to continually drive up housing costs while we keep people's income the same. This creates a situation of homelessness. Like in Burnaby, we're destroying lower end of market rental apartments. And there's a vacancy crisis, so that there's very few places available. Bidding wars on rental units, and you're into this mix, you create a situation where people have no other options but to be here. And so the shape in which it takes is different in these locations, but the driving forces of poverty and homelessness and displacement, they're all the same.
Awesome. Thank you.